Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Eddie Marcus, and I want to thank you so very much for stopping here on this post. I guarantee I got something for you that will bless you. Whether you receive it or not is all on you. A few days ago, Donald Trump was interviewed by some news reporters. You recall him, perhaps, when he stood up and said that he is the only one, that he is the chosen one. And many of you thought that was indignant for someone, a liar, a blasphemer, no good scoundrel to stand before you and suggest that he is the chosen one. However, there are people who are fundamentalist Christians and evangelical Christians, they're white, right-wingers, who would say that to you as well. And if you check out some of their Facebook or YouTube pages, you'll find out that they are saying that as well. And he is a chosen one, ladies and gentlemen, but he is a chosen one of the devil. And I want you to listen to me because I want to substantiate what I'm saying to you. You know, many of you who thought what I've just said before I said it, I got a message that I want to bring to you, and when I tell you what the subject is, you're probably going to look at me the way you looked at Trump. I am not the chosen one, but I come to you with a message from God. You talk about people who are responding to Trump, and folks are asking, well, this criminal who's breaking all the rules, breaking all the laws, and the laws, they say, is the breadwinner, the bread bottom of this nation, a nation of laws, and that no one is above the law. That was a trick, wasn't it? It tricked you. It tricked you. You know, rich white people have always been above the law, but this is right in your face. This is right in your face. You got somebody standing right in your face. The whole nation sees, the whole world sees, and he is substantiating whether your laws are real or whether they are fake. And the fact that he is breaking every last one of them and getting away with it means that the laws are fake. Now some say, well, why don't we prosecute him and put him before the public and let the public make a decision? The public already know that he's a devil, a demon, or agent of the devil. The public already knows that. But the powers that be that are supposed to be representing a portion of the public are themselves caught up in that evil trap. And so they do not do what they're supposed to do to protect you, the people, from this demon. What they are doing, they are protecting the powers behind this demon so that he can stay there in power. In fact, they got it set up in such a way till if he is ever brought to court, he's going to get off. And the reason he's going to get off is because it's staged, it's set. In this court, the judge is the coach of the devil's team. The judge is the referee of the game. The devil is the referee of the game. So how can you win in a system that's designed so that you can't win? It's a crying shame, ladies and gentlemen, that this has happened to America. But it's not just a crying shame that you're not even aware of it today, but it's been happening all the time, gradually happening all the time. And how can you fight something like that? You can't go to the church. The government is already, it's been railroaded. It's been shanghaied. And when you go to the church, they cannot do anything for you because they have been shanghaied as well. And they don't know it. They think they got it going on because they got a book that says, if you follow this, then you got it going on. And so they follow the book as best they possibly can. But then, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are listening at me, are listening to me, in that book they say there was a man who was the chosen one, who was the Son of God, who came to this earth to do those things that was not being done, that represented God as well. And there were those called Pharisees and Sadducees. They are those who are in the churches today. They are the preachers. The Pharisees and Sadducees, they are the preachers. They are the ones that's confined to the book that's called the Bible. The Bible that's been rubbed through so many hands, racist hands, bigot hands, people who own slave hands, people who couldn't stand other people's hands, dictators have all rubbed their hands through the book, had their imprint left on the book. If there was any way you could check it out to see whose fingerprints are on it, and there is, if you know the Spirit of God, you could tell. And it's all that there is. So you got your preachers who were taught by slave masters. And no slave master taught about freedom for you who are in bondage. And you got these preachers standing before you, preaching to you about bondage. And you don't know it, telling you about God. And this happened from generation to generation to generation. And whenever someone comes along who is led by the Spirit of God, he is killed, and you go right on back to the Pharisees and Sadducees every Sunday, thinking you loving God, thinking that you are praising God. And you got those Sadducees and Pharisees who've gone to the seminaries. They think they got it going on. They're big shots. They got a doctor behind their name. They're Dr. Reverend, Dr. Bishop, and all these kinds of things. And when you start saying you're a Dr. Reverend and Dr. Bishop, that means you're one of the bigger devils. You have bought into that thing. You have bought into that scam, and you're willing to do anything to your people. Somebody said, well, the Bible, and you know, ladies and gentlemen, it has been said in your history books of school that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And over the 100 years plus, others have determined that Christopher Columbus did not discover America. We don't know who discovered it for the natives, but they were here. So it was already discovered. And let's just say, well, they do give that ability, that discovery to someone else. And it might be several different people, but you know who you have heard other than Trump. But even now in the school books, if you take a test, they're going to ask you who did it, and you're going to put Christopher Columbus, because if you don't, they're going to mark it that you're wrong. Why? Because they want you to conform to what they have taught you, what they've trained you, what plays well in their plan, and you are going to do it. Now, I know you don't think you that stupid and ignorant and foolish, but you are. And here's another indication that I'd like to just share with you. You know, children, you can listen to me now. I know your parents are going to get mad for me saying it in your presence, but I'm going to say it. Everybody knows in America, I don't know about outside these borders, but in America, everybody have learned, at least an adult, that there is no Santa Claus. There might be one railroading, pretending to be Santa Claus, and where that is happening, that's your parent, your mother, your father, or somebody doing something good for you, representing something good, a gift, a present, some expression of love that is happening. But every last one of them have learned that it is no man, white man with a big beard coming down some chimney doing this and that what you've been taught. And yet and still, even though these people have learned that there is no Santa Claus, they will get angry at anybody that tells their children that there is no Santa Claus. And so even now, they're getting angry. They might have already changed the channel with me for saying that Santa Claus is your mama and your daddy. And it's no other than your mama and your daddy or some other human being doing something nice and kind for you. So if you know this is true, and you keep perpetuating this deception through your children, through their children and their children, that there's a Santa Claus, when it's fake, then you can understand how misled you are by perpetuating a continuous lie through the Bible. Yes, I look at you when I go to church sometime, and I look at all of the parishioners. I wonder, how in the world can you believe that there was a power so high, a God so powerful, so magnificent, and men like you and I who are in need of situations just like you and I, and yet they had a humbleness that God could speak to them. Some of them weren't humble. God had to do something to get their attention. But they listened to God. and they walked according to what God had given them. At least that's what the Bible said. I don't know if it's true or not, but you do. You believe it. And many of them never wrote a word. They just, according to that book, went around and talked to people and shared with people. And somehow, what was supposedly taking place, some other folks ran across it and scrolls and found some scripts and stuff and utilized it by putting it in a book and indicating that it is directly from God and no one has the authority to change it. And because they said no one has the authority to change it, you who believe it don't think that the people who put it in there changed it. And you know, who do you know that is not a thief? Who do you know that is perfect? Who do you know that has not conformed to any of this hellishness? Not a single person on earth that you know. But you're going to assume that these people who put this book together were perfect, or they were obedient to God. Now, the only reason I'm saying this to you because you make me sick for acting so darn stupid. You know, and you talk to me, well, I don't want to hear it if it didn't come out the Bible. Well, I don't believe it. Well, let me go give me some more information out of the Bible. You need to study more. What they're telling you is that you need to practice getting more conformed. And when you come out listening to it the way we deliver it, and when I say we, we're talking about variations. You got Catholicism, you got the Protestants, and all these different variations, and they all disagree about certain things, but they say that they are right and everybody else is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that every last one of them is wrong. That's why we're living in hell today. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, and I am not playing any games with you. America is ran by Satan. America is ran by Satan. I don't care what you are, what denomination you are, what color you are, how old you are, how young you are. America is ran by Satan. Always has been, but now it is more obvious than it has ever been. And right now you got the agent of Satan, call him the devil, in the White House named Donald Trump. Everything that you know that evil to represent is represented in Donald Trump. Stephen King tried to inform you about it through a presentation, a movie he produced called The Stand. For those of you who want to check out Donald Trump, go to The Stand by Stephen King. And he's right there doing the same identical thing. But Donald Trump is not just there because he's a devil. He has support. He got all the representation. He got the church. He got the Protestant, got the fundamentalist Christians, he got the evangelical Christians, all of them. And when I say he has them, why do I say that? Because they believe in persecution. They believe in suffering, other people suffering. They're the ones who are helping stack the courts. They're the ones that's trying to act like they are so superior. The only thing they're concerned about is their agenda. And their agenda is the same agenda as Donald Trump. Their agenda is the same agenda as the devil. Their agenda is the same agenda as Satan. Now you believe that God spoke to Matthew, Abraham, Luke, John, and you know the name of them. You believe that, Joshua. You believe that. You actually believe that. Paul and James. You believe that. And I ask you, why in the world can't God talk to you? Why did thousands of years ago he spoke to these people and closed the book? Or shut up. Close your ears. So you had to hear from another Pharisee or Sadducee. Somewhere in that book they said they was going to send you a spirit. Because this special one, this chosen one, went away and said he was not going to leave you helpless. He's going to send a spirit that was going to protect you. Not only that, what the Father says and does that he sees, he was going to inspire you with that particular message so you wouldn't have to listen to the Pharisees and Sadducees. But that's what you want to listen to, the Pharisees and Sadducees. Back in those days, they were doing the same thing. And somebody come along like Jesus and they want to kill him. Now, how does this devilish thing work? This devilish thing work? It's just like any fisherman. They say Jesus was a fisherman, told the disciples, I'm going to make you fishermen of men. But what he was doing was sharing with people the truth. Telling the people enlightenment so that they could understand what was going on. But he was not only doing that, he did some things that no other human being could do in their presence if the book is true. He opened eyes so people could see, messed with their ears so they could hear, opened up their mouths so they could speak. Did some things to their legs and feet so they could walk. They could stand up. Did all kinds of miracles that no human being did and can do and has ever done to solidify himself as being that special, chosen one. Not like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was chosen. He is chosen by the devil, chosen by Satan. And I want to emphasize that Donald Trump is chosen. He is chosen by Satan. Now, the reason that so many of you are caught up in this philosophy of life and refuse to make any efforts to change is because the system, Satan, the devil, and all of his powers that be have set up something that is used to capture you. Just like a worm, a piece of shrimp on a hook to catch a fish. That fish had no idea it was going to be caught and eaten. It was just trying to get a piece of meat for themselves. But as soon as they bit down on that meat, on that bait, a hook grabbed them and they were gone. And so that's what happens to mankind. They are not caught by truth. They are caught by an alternative. And what is that alternative? That alternative that everybody in America, possibly everybody in the world is caught on to. They want to have it. Without it, you got to be out of your mind. And what is that? That's called money. Money. They say with money you can do anything in the world that needs to be done, anything that you need for survival and everything else. And if that's true and it is of God, then why don't everybody have it? Why don't everybody have it? Why are there those that's making goo-galls of money, and there are others that have to work for minimum wage? Why is it, if it's so godly, why is it so that people have to fight to get $15 an hour? If it's so magnificent, why is it that people don't have the resources necessary for their survival? If it's so godly, and who is supporting it? The whole darn world is supporting it. So you see, we have America, people of the other nations, have bit onto that bait, money, and they caught with that hook that keeps them fast, can't get it loose, fast, can't get it loose, fast, can't get it loose. Unless somebody come there and start speaking the truth, like what I'm sharing with you right now. You don't want to hear it. Now, what makes the message that I bring to you so different than the message that I'm sharing to you about the devil? The message that I bring to you is the divine message. And I want to tell you, in case you forgot what I first said, I bring you a message from God. Not a message from me. Not a message from Democrats. Not a message from black folks. Not a message from men. I bring to you a message of God, a message of truth. And I want to start off by letting you know that this whole doggone earth was created by a power you can't see, can't touch, can't feel. And I've seen some miraculous things done in my own life that were so magnificent, I called it God, and it happened to me. And when I see these things that none of you racist bigots can ever do, I call it God. And when I think about everything that is needed for man's survival comes from this earth, I have no problem telling you that that power embedded it in the earth, on the earth, or above the earth, seen and unseen, so that it will always be here as long as mankind is on this earth and have the need for it. But it's no good if you couldn't extract it, research it, identify where it is. So he instilled in each of us something that will allow us to participate in the process. But he didn't just give us that participation. He made it our greatest joy. Whatever it is, we got different things. They give us our greatest joy. And that greatest joy, when engaged in the participation of accessing and extracting those resources that are necessary in the manifestation of these wonderful things that meet our needs, our wants, and our desires, it's divine. And when we do that, ladies and gentlemen, every last one of us benefit from it. And when we as individuals participate in the creative process, we got some ownership in it. We're not just out there working for somebody, working for some CEO. We are working for ourselves. We are working for the human race. We're not working for Exxon. We're not working for Conoco. We're not working for Standard. We're not working for Mr. John or Mr. Sue. We're working for ourselves. We commit ourselves to that process. Each of us commit ourselves to that process. And that process is so intertwined that when we do it the way it's supposed to be done in the natural order, everybody got a career. Everybody got a job if you don't know what career means. And that allows enough people in this United States, enough people in this world, and enough skills and knowledge and joy to make sure that no one goes without health care. From the womb to the tomb, no one goes without education, unlimited and unrestricted. No one goes without food, clothing, shelter, and as much as you need. And all the other things are just cream on the top. Your infrastructure, your transportation, your communication. All of these things are gift from God, not from the devil. God is to give it so everybody can have it. The devil is to take it. So only he can, or she, or whatever the devil is, can have it. And those that support it, because the rest of you don't be damned according to the devil. I go to church and listen to these people, these Pharisees and Sadducees up in that pulpit, telling these same old Bible stories that these people have been hearing since the day they started going to church up until the day I've been going out there for 70 years. And the same stories I heard when my ears were open, I was able to understand what I was hearing as a child. I'm still hearing that crap. And the benefit of it then is the same benefit of it now. Bondage. Bondage. God came to send his son, if it's true, to set you free. And if God's son never existed, the message that I bring to you is to set you free. Not just you Democrats, but the Republicans too. Not just those of you who are not so terrible, but for those that is as terrible can be. Not just for black people because I'm black, but for white people too. Not just for men because I'm a man, but women too. Not just for old folks because I'm old, but for young people too. I bring to you a message of freedom. I bring to you a message of freedom, my friends. And it ain't in no constitution. It's not in a law. It's not in the book. It's in the spirit of life. I heard somebody say today on the news that several states decide they're going to cut out a primary when it comes down to the next presidential election of 2020. They want to make sure that if anybody running against Donald Trump, the devil, they have no opportunity to win. And at the same time, you got Democrats who are lying straight up with the devil. You can tell them, the ones who know what the truth is and won't stand up and give truth any representation, sitting up trying to be smart, trying to outsmart the devil. You got to be the biggest fool you could ever be if you think you can outsmart the devil. The only one that can outsmart the devil is God. And if you want to outsmart the devil, you would allow the Spirit of the living God to come straight down into you. And it will be the Spirit that exposes the devil. It would be the Spirit that reveals the truth. It would be the Spirit that would empower you to do those necessary things to set yourself free, to set your people free, to set God's people free, and give God the glory. That's what it's going to take. And I'm sitting here listening to this here people talking about going to church, singing songs, having a celebration, and the world going straight to hell. It looks like the only thing that the Spirit of God has working for it is nature. And he has to use the hurricanes, the wildfires, the earthquakes, the tornadoes, just to get you, to let you know that you're not God. Tear down your cities, burn up your towns, flood out everything that you thought you had, just to let you know that whatever you put your trust in the past is not sufficient enough to keep you standing. You got to turn somewhere else. And turning somewhere else is not just a selfish matter, because it is a selfish matter that got you where you're at. If you want to go somewhere else, you got to open up your heart. You got to realize that everybody's your sister. Everybody's your brother. You're all one family, and you got to live according to the family structure. I'm trying to tell you something you never heard before. And then I go to the church and ask people, I say, I got a message from God. Will you allow me to present the word? And I guess you turn around and say, hee hee hee. You hear that? You hear that? Have you asked me to come back and share the message with you? No, you haven't asked me. Why? Because I don't say what you say. Why would I come to you and say to your people, to the people in that church, the same thing that you say? If I was going to do that, they don't need anybody else to come in there and do that. They got you. I ain't no flunky. I'm no donkey to be dunked on. I'm a child of God. I'm here doing the work of God. And I'm not trying to say I'm respected, because I'm not. The first time I stepped out in this thing for real, my first wife said she didn't want anything to do with it. She jumped ship. My present wife today, she must love me because she's still with me, but she can't stand what I talk about. This message that I've been sharing with you right now, why can't a person stand it? My wife goes someplace and I'm doing what I'm doing right now. She comes into the house, the spirit just squashes. I just fold up the book and shut up, because I know she don't want to stand it. And if I'm bold enough to keep on doing it, I can see her just grinding, and then I can just see her cringing because she's so fed up with this conversation and wish I'd shut up. Why does she want me to shut up? Because she wants me, the same as anybody, to be a Pharisee if I'm going to do this, to be a Sadducee, to say the same old stinking things I've been hearing all my life, to say the same old stinking things that she's been hearing all her life, to say the same old stinking things that all of you people who go to church have been hearing all your life, and none of you are set free. You think if you give $1 to charity that you're glorifying God. You start talking about the woman who had a little meal and made some pancakes for somebody, and her barrels ran over. So that's to make you think that if you ain't got much, but you help somebody, then that's enough. No, my friends, as long as there's suffering going around, then you should look at yourself as that being you. You might not be going through that particular pain. When you look at what's happening in Puerto Rico, look at the pains that's happening in South Carolina and North Carolina. Look at that suffering. No, you're not there. But if you had a heart of God, you would feel the same pain that they feel, and you'd make sure that whatever needs to be done to help those people up, it would be done. Nothing would stop them. You would not be building a wall. You would not be closing down schools so you can build a wall and play a game. That's the game that Satan plays, and only Satan's people can go along with it. Only Satan's people can go along with it. And you're calling yourself a child of God. You are, but not the God of love. Yes, Trump is the chosen one. Chosen by Satan to do the work of Satan. He's a devil. And those fundamentalist Christians and Pharisee and evangelical Christians, the right wing, those who are lifting up white supremacy, those who are lifting up, trying to act like they love people by saying no more abortions, and then they allow you to come here. You got no job. They take it, and you have to eat. They take away the little things that's been set aside, like food stamps. Take that away from you. They send you to school and laugh at you because you don't have nothing to eat, and then they call themselves caring about people. You lying, 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 liar. Now, I lived a long time. I never thought I'd live to get past 18. Came out of Mississippi, no cotton fields. I know where all that racism is. I mean, it's really all everywhere, but we knew that it was there. But I did live to be 18. And then I never thought I'd get past 21. But I lived past that now. There were several instances between the age of 18, or before 18, and after 18, where death had a grab on me so tight, a hold so tight, and if it had not been for the power that I'm talking to you about today, a miraculous power that worked a miracle that allowed me to be here and to stand up before you today and to give you the message that I'm giving to you. So if any racist devil, if any hate, bigot, snake, God-hating, anybody see me walking down the street and blow my stinking brains out, I want you to know I'm so glad that I had the opportunity at this age. I didn't give up. It took me this long. At this age, to share with you, to give you this great message of freedom and liberation, of love and life that God has given me to share with you. Now, whether you accept it or not is not my charge. I wish you would. I got children that would benefit from the love of God. I got children, and don't think just because you walk around and your body still alive, that's a love of God. I got grandchildren, I got great children who living in the same hell. And this boat is sinking and sinking. And if something doesn't happen to cause it to rise up and float, they are all going down, mine and yours. You think I love living? Eating this poison food that takes away your liver, your kidneys, your blood pressure, gives you cancer, just to die in pain? You think that's something that I desire? No, I want to live in heaven today. And I'm not just talking about a spiritual heaven. I'm talking about a physical heaven right here in the United States of America that can be a light to the rest of the world. That can be a letter or a message to the rest of the world. I want to see the doors that coming of you, my friends, my sisters, my brother, my family, with a smile on your face, because everything is all right. And you know it's all right. Why? Because you guaranteed it to one another. Don't think a representative is going to do it. No, I didn't say this so far, but don't let me get out of here without mentioning this to you. This is not going to happen by some leader. This is not going to happen by some political person. It's going to happen by you receiving the Spirit of God. It's going to happen by you renewing your mind. It's going to happen by you standing up and giving it representation, not standing for anything else. You are going to expose the lie because you experience it every day. You're going to call out for the truth, that light that lifts you up beyond all of this hell, that the rest of us can see. And choose it. Make a choice that we too might be free. Man, I came home tonight, thought I was going to church, but I found out they were just going to be having choir rehearsal. So I decided I'd come down here and spend this little time with you and share it with you. But I'm through playing games. If I'm in your church and I get a chance to testify, if you're listening to this, you can bet your last money. I can't have but a minute or two, but this is the message that I'm sharing. I'm not sharing this darn message of death, this message of bondage, this message of persecution, this message of helplessness. No, my friends, that is for those who are in darkness. I'm not in no darkness. I'm living amongst people who are living in darkness because they don't know any better, but God loves you still, and because of that, I say, I am here to bring to you a message from God. Now, I know there's so much more I can say, but I don't want to spend it all right here. They say leave some so people will come back, or people will turn back and see what else you got to say. I don't want to drive you away. I'm trying to give you something that would stimulate you, motivate you, inspire you to change for love's sake. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this your time. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus, a child of the Almighty God. Thank you.